Ciao, se ti piacciono i miei video iscriviti al canale.
E voilà! Hi, Peter! How are you, Peter?
I'm very good. I'm very good. Nice
Oh,
to see you.
okay. Welcome to my channel.
Yep.
I'm Roberto, and the Queen Recensioni Fan is the most followed page of Queen in Italy and not only.
Okay.
I'm very thrilled today because we have you with us.
All
It's
right.
a pleasure. Okay.
All right.
The old fans know you, but for the new ones,
Yes.
who is Peter Straker? Let me introduce you shortly. Okay?
Okay.
Peter Straker is a theater, cabaret singer and actor. He worked in lots of amazing shows. For example, for the TV, Doctor Who, Connie, and for the theater, Hair, The Original Phantom of the Opera, and many others. He was a very close friend of Freddie Mercury and appeared also in Freddie's solo videos. Now he's just come out with a stunning project. So, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Peter Straker.
How do you do?
Okay, okay.
How do you
Peter,
do? Ciao. Ciao.
Ciao, ciao Italia. Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Please, Peter, remember to speak slowly because Rossella Valentina translate in Italian for the followers in the comments during this live, so they can get what you say. Okay?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
We know that on 20th of March, a release came out for the first time in any format. And these works have been produced by important artists, one of them, Freddie Mercury. Would you like to tell us something about these ones on Mi Box, please?
Yes. I wanted to do this for some time because these three albums came out, I think the first one is in 1977, 76, 77, 78, and 80. And I'd done a deal with Freddie's company called Goose Productions, where we put out those songs over that period of time. And then we've been looking to re-release them because I was asked to re-release them, and we got Michael Addison, who is my sort of business partner and a musician who's written a lot of my songs. We managed to get the rights. We bought the rights back, and then Cherry Records asked us through Barney Ashton, asked us if we would put it out. So that's how it came about.
Oh, okay.
It's very simple. Everything seems to take time. That's all. It's just life.
Okay, okay, good. Can you show us the box that you have with you?
I have, yes, I have.
Yeah.
That's the box. It has a little booklet inside.
Yeah.
Which is all with all the information about all the stuff.
Yeah.
And then these are the three. Not in any. That's the first one, which Freddie and Roy Thomas Baker produced.
Cool.
And that's the second one, which Tim Freescreen produced.
Okay, okay.
And this is the third one, which Mac Reinhold and Mike Allison and I produced.
Amazing, amazing.
So that's that. Yes, that's it.
Oh, okay. I saw you wearing the same necklace charm as in the box cover, as in the video Arby Still. The same necklace charm.
Oh yes. That's how
very cool.
This is very old.
Oh
yes. I started to wear these. This is it's a champagne. It's a swizzle stick, a champagne swizzle stick, and it was bought. I bought this in Tiffany's.
Oh.
And that's what it does. It gets into the champagne, and you do this.
Oh, amazing! Amazing!
And you do it. Cheers.
Oh, cheers, Peter! I'm prepared for this occasion.
Oh, you got some as well, see? Well, see? Great minds think alike.
In Italy, we say chin chin.
Chin chin. Yes.
Okay.
I know.
Well, would you like telling something about the amazing song Arby Still? How was it born? as you noticed, in my promo video about this interview, I love Ragtime Piano John!
Oh. Oh, you like that one. You like that one. Oh, good.
I love both. Can you tell me something about Arby Still and how was it born?
Arby Still was on an album that I heard in the 70s, actually,
yeah.
with an American singer, a black American singer called Lorraine Ellison.
Okay.
She has the most fantastic voice, I think. And I'd heard this song. She'd also done a song which was, I think, is quite famous throughout the world, called "Stay With Me, Baby." And then I loved Arby Still. I just kept listening and listening and listening. And when we were starting to record, I'd heard this many times. And I played it to Freddie. And then when we started to make the album, it was just, I just said, "Shall we do it?" And he said, "Yes, let's do it." So
okay.
we just did it. And then Freddie is great with, as you know, with layering voices up and voices up and voices. So yeah. it was great. So it was, it's a great tribute to him because he has that ability. He can hear sounds which a lot of us can't hear, and just layering the voices. So I did the voices with members of my band, and Freddie put his voice in it as well. So that was cool.
Cool. Okay.
That's cool.
Okay. Let's begin with the fun questions. Okay? Yeah. The fun question. The first one. When and where did you meet Freddie for the first time? How did you become friends?
We met in a restaurant in the Fulham Road. He was there with John Reed, who managed Queen eventually for a period of time, and they were leaving, and I'd sat down with my manager at the time called David Evans, and we met that way. He was leaving the restaurant, and we met and said hello and talked a little bit, and he was gone, and that's how we first met. Then subsequently we met in various restaurants. just socially, because a lot of us all went to the same restaurants at that time. It's a bit like anywhere, an artist just went to certain restaurants, and we just met, and then we just became sort of talked, and we knew some of the same people, and just talked, and then I think I invited him I had a birthday, and I invited him to my house, to my flat in Fulham, and he arrived with a huge bottle of Nebuchadnezzar of champagne, and then we just got on from there. Yeah, it was simple as that.
Okay. Second question. Freddie always said you were one of the best boys he had ever listened. When did he listen to you singing for the first time?
I think I was doing a show somewhere. I can't remember, Robert.
Okay.
But we were doing a show somewhere, and he came, and he said, "Oh, I must come and hear what you do and stuff." And he came down to see me singing, and that's how we got off. And because we talked a lot about music, we like the same sort of music as well, the same sort of singers and musicians. So it was just a mutual. It's just yeah.
Did Freddie influence your way to create music? Are there any other artists you felt inspired by?
I don't know. He didn't influence me because I was already singing at that stage. I'd done a show in the West End called Hair, which I know you said at the beginning.
Yeah.
So I had started. So I was on I don't know what trajectory I was on. because my background in music was through my mother, who was a leader singer, and she in fact and as we're talking to Italy, did a lot of opera as well and stuff, and I learned a lot of opera, Verdi and some of the more popular operas. So I was much more I wasn't trained, but I listened to a lot of classical music. So rock and roll was quite new to me, even though I'd been listening to a lot of rock and, don't get me wrong. and I'd been to see concerts and things by various people, but so I wouldn't say he influenced me. Perhaps later on in life, because I loved what Queen did. Some of the stuff, some of the stuff they did. I love the musicianship, and I love the voice. That lovely thing with voices and things. And then so yeah, that would be my influence, but that came much later.
Okay, okay, much later. Okay.
Yeah.
How was Freddie in the studio at work? Can you describe how did the song take shape?
He was, well, he was very productive, but it was a strange thing at the beginning with me, because I was, when we talked about, when I asked him if he produced my album, and he said yes and all of that, and we talked about what I would do, and I said I'd like to do what I was already doing on stage, and he agreed. So that's why that first album is so eclectic.
Okay.
It's a bit, I wouldn't say it's odd, it's just what I was doing at the time. And that was just, that was music, and to me, and I just love surprising myself and just changing things and doing things and just changing. So that's all it was. And so, and working in the studio, I suppose, I'd done one album before, and but I wasn't a recording artist. So I learned, I learned a lot on the spot, because we were very lucky in those days.
Amazing.
We just went in and created and just took time and worked, and so that was very good.
Cool. Talking about videos, you have taken part to the Great Pretender video. Could you tell us something untold about it? Whose idea was to dress up like three vamps, and you look like the Ronettes, the Supremes, something like that?
Actually, it was great fun to do. That Great Pretender was fantastic. It was all Freddie's idea.
Okay.
And he just said one day, because we had recorded the song, and Roger and I had done some of the backup singing, I know all that. So he was in the garden one day, and he said, "I've got this idea. We should all dress up as women." And there it was. And I had nothing to do with the design of anything. I think probably it's Diana that did the design, but I'm not sure. So I didn't know what I was wearing, or a little bit, until I arrived at the studio that night. So I had no idea. It's an elaborate wig, isn't it? Yes, yes. It was good. It was good fun. That's what it is. Good fun. It's good fun.
Okay. In the Golden Boy video with Montserrat Caballé, you appear in the choir.
Yeah.
Would you like to tell us something concerning this wonderful work?
Yeah. Well, he had this idea to do it, and he and Mike Moran had talked about doing it. And at the time, I was in a show in the West End called Blues in the Night.
Okay.
And it was Debbie Bishop, who was one of the other girls in it, and Carol Wood, who was an American singer. And so we all did a Madeleine Bell. There's a whole heap of us, and he just had this idea of putting this group like a sort of gospel sort of group of singers together. And because I knew these people, and I'd introduced him to some of these people, and he just said, "Wouldn't it be a good idea to do this?" And Mike Moran said yes, and so that's how we did it. And so it's sort of quite organic, because it just sort of happened, and it was quite natural, really. Yeah.
Incredible. You have been very close to Freddie Mercury in private, and you have often been invited to Garden Lodge. Which event, party do you like to remember most?
Oh my Gideon. There were so many that they could drift into one. I used to spend Christmas with him and the staff and Mary and everything. So there was one very great Christmas Eve which I remember wonderfully, around the Christmas tree, which was very tall, taller than this room. And we just had a whole heap of people. I was in a show, and some of the people from the show, we came on later on. And then some of my other friends came, and some of his friends came. And all of a sudden, from about 10:30, 11, 12 in the evening, up till about 4 in the morning, we were all around, and Mike Moran used to be there, and we would play. Mike, well, I remember that particular Christmas was playing the piano, and a whole heap of people came. My friend Stephanie Beecham came, Pam Ferris, Cliff Richard, a whole heap of people, Dave Clark. So it's just wonderful, and that was because that was so spontaneous. It wasn't a plan.
Yeah,
it just happened, and we just came along, and it was that sort of house where it was, you know, you just drank.
Okay, okay.
Virtual drinking. No.
Okay, next question. Have you got any object owned by Freddie and given to you are very fond of?
I have a piece of a Lalique perfume bottle,
yeah,
which I still have, which is fine. There were some other things he gave me, but I left them in his house and things just by accident, because I was traveling around, and I was just. But that piece I still have at home, and I love it. Yes, it's in. And I also have. I moved into. I don't know why I've still got this thing for sentimental reasons. I moved into when I moved into a flat which I bought in the late 80s, late 80s, yes. He gave me well, before that, because in fact, now you just remind me, I'm thinking now.
Yeah, okay.
I have a kimono.
Kimono, okay.
Which I wear on stage anyway, for one of the songs that I sing, and that was his, and it still works, and I still wear it, and it's great fun. It gives me great memories. So I've got that, and I had a wonderful big huge bread spread, which was Japanese.
Yeah.
It's fallen into disrepair.
Oh.
Age has caught up with it, and I have a set of you've just reminded me of things. I've got a Chinese dinner service.
Oh, okay.
And things, but I have, which is falling apart, knives and forks, which it was given to me when I first, and they were his originally, and he said he had these, and would I like them, because when I was moving into my flat, I didn't have any furniture or toy. That was because I just bought the place, you know, and just got in. And I still have these. They're falling apart, but I don't know why. I still have them, and I use them. And one of my friends said to the other day, just last week, said, "What's this? Why?" I said, "But you know what? I got this from Freddie." And I said, "Nobody would believe it because they're falling apart, but I know it." So that's what. Yes.
Amazing.
They're mine. They're mine.
Okay. Next question. In the docudrama, The Freddie Mercury Story, Who Wants to Live Forever, you say he wasn't a saint. Could you tell us anything funny you did together? An episode, maybe?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Funny episode.
I think one of the first things I remember when I met him, we went to the theater to see something. I think it was Let My People Come, show, I think. And I remember when the interval came. Yes, when the interval came, we went out because it was quite crowded. So we went outside we went to the pub to get a drink. And I said, "Come on, we've got to go back in now. It's you know, it's 15 minutes." And he said, "What do you mean we've got to go back?" He said, "I'm not going back in." I said, "What do you mean?" He said, "I'm not going back in." He said, once I leave a place, I never go back." So I had to teach him very quickly that wasn't quite the same with the theatre. And so it became our little joke, because afterwards I remember doing a play another play, and he was there to see it. And as we'd left and gone out to dinner and come back, and there was a big party going on, and I said, "Oh, but I said, no, dear, we can't go back because you don't ever go back." He said, "Oh, and we went back." But that was little jokes. But it's a sense of humor as well. That's what I love about Freddie. His sense of humor.
Okay.
He had a great sense of humor.
Have you ever realized a song for Queen together with Freddie? If yes, could you tell us something, anecdotes?
When you say realize, you mean have I sung a song with them?
Yeah, realized together.
Not together as a thing. I've been in the studio, and I'm going to sneeze, and I did a little bit of work with them, just doing some of the backing on stuff, as I remember, a bit on Flash.
Okay. Well done, yeah.
Just a little bit, and I remember Brian saying to me, he said to me, "Everything you've done is very well, but we have to cut you out, cut a lot of you out, because all we can hear is your voice. It's such a different voice to the Queen sound." We did a little bit on that, and I did a little bit on Pressure.
Oh, amazing,
Yeah,
amazing.
but nothing to, honestly, it's just a little.
Oh,
yeah.
You have seen Bohemian Rhapsody movie,
Yeah.
for sure. Okay. Do you think the movie shows Freddie and Queen in the right way? How much is close to reality?
I enjoyed the film.
Okay.
I enjoyed the film. The film just gives an idea. It's a biopic.
Okay.
It just gives you an idea of a passage of time through, and some of it is made up and some of it isn't. But that is, if you write a biopic or a biography of somebody, you use artistic license. It's not a documentary.
Oh, you're right, right.
You know, it's nothing. It's not. This didn't say it was real life. It's just it just gives you an impression of a journey. Yeah.
Okay. Last question.
Oh, go on.
Okay. When did you see Freddie for the last time?
I can't remember. Probably about 18 months before he died.
Okay.
I was touring Ken Hill's original Phantom of the Opera.
Okay.
Around the country, and at the same time, and I do remember this, I was making another album, and we hadn't seen each other for just because I was working, and then he became ill, well, or he was ill, but we weren't quite sure what was happening at the time, and bloom. So about 18 months before he died.
Thank you very much, Peter.
Roberto, it's a pleasure. Thank you.
Okay. For your passion, your kindness. Okay. Okay.
Chin.
Chin chin, cheers. Okay. For your kindness, it's a pleasure for me. It was a pleasure.
Yep.
Feel free, remember, feel free to come back when you want. If you want to speak with us, we are here. We will see, no problem.
That's
okay?
very kind of you. Thank you very much indeed.
And good luck for your project.
You're lovely. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye, Peter.